Hello, tonight I'm thrilled to be holding the third Jericho Prize award ceremony hosted by the incredible Sinai Fleary. Thank you so much, Sinai. Tonight we'll be celebrating the very best new talent in Black British children's writing, and you'll hear more from our 8 finalists later on. But first, some stats. This year, the Jericho Prize received a staggering 130 submissions, including 29 for our new Baby and Toddler Award. All of this is a really promising sign that lots more Black British writers are embracing storytelling for the under 7s. This year's shortlists were really varied, from really emotive lyrical stories about the loss of a loved one and their enduring legacy and the hope in that, but also we had really fun, light-hearted scripts where children are just having a great time and making autonomous choices. What all 8 writers had in common was that they worked incredibly hard to respect the needs of young readers and pre-readers, offering stories that were relatable and in tune with children's rapidly developing and innately curious young minds. And lots of people think that's really simple to do, but it isn't. It's extremely difficult to do it well. It's a skill that takes many years to hone. As Mac Barnett said astutely in his 2025 inaugural speech as America's National Ambassador for Young People's Literature, we don't think of paediatrics as cute medicine. We know that it's incredibly hard work, and so just as paediatricians take care of children's bodies, children's book writers take care of their souls. So well done, finalists, for taking on what is probably the most important and rewarding jobs that you will ever do. But that's the technical side of writing. What about Black representation in books? How far have we come with that? Well, over 50 years ago, in 1973, a picture book was published that quietly made history. My Brother Sean, illustrated by Errol Lloyd and written by Petronella Breinberg, was the first traditionally published picture book in the UK to boldly centre a Black main character, a little ordinary boy called Sean. But that was over 50 years ago. What has happened since then? Well, in 2025, I can honestly say I can count on one hand the number of Black British picture book writers who I feel have truly broken the picture book glass ceiling. Writers who have consistently crafted stories for our youngest readers over the years. One of whom is our patron, Ken Wilson-Max, who recently celebrated 30 years dedicated service to the industry. So we are really pleased to have Ken with us here tonight. I'm focusing on writing there because thankfully the situation with Black British illustrators appears slightly healthier. But I do feel we need to ask ourselves some really serious questions about why there have only been 5 acclaimed picture book authors who are Black in over half a century. In a climate where DEI initiatives are being rolled back and, quite frankly, promises are being broken, I asked publishing, why is this number still so low? What are we doing to nurture Black British writing talent long term? What are we doing to show writers this is a serious career worth investing time in? And crucially, how do we make it profitable, not just for publishers, but for the writers too? They have to eat. Their passion alone is not going to pay their bills. But still, Black representation in children's books must start early with the books that babies see. In a 2022 Guardian article, Errol Lloyd looked forward to a post-BLM future. He said, "With the goodwill generated by the Black Lives Matter movement, things will improve, at least in the short term, and we may well see the emergence of a new crop of writers enriching the sector." Well, tonight, despite the uncertain climate, we celebrate that new crop of writers for our youngest readers who have delivered the most stunning, diverse shortlists that authentically reflect Black children and their families here and abroad. Well done to all of you for your incredible stories, for your commitment to your craft, and for showing all readers that Black children deserve representation in books. I'm now going to hand over to our patron, Ken Wilson Max.
Hi everybody, I am Ken Wilson Max. I'm the patron of the Jericho Prize, and I first wanted to say thank you to Fabia and her team for actually making sure that the prize not only keeps going but seems to get better every time it runs. The quality is raised, and I think this year seems to be the highest, the highest so far. Then I want to say congratulations to the finalists who've made it this far. Obviously, entering the competition already deserves a prize, because it's never easy to put yourself up against other people, especially when you don't know whether or not your work is of the same standard. So congratulations to everybody first, but the finalists in particular. So as one creative to another, to you, I thought it would be quite interesting for me to give you just 2 tips or 2 bits of insight. And the first one is, now that you've entered the competition and we're now at the end of it, we're going to be awarding people some prizes. What happens next? Are you thinking about what happens next? And the word I'm going to use, or the word I like to use this year, is resilience. Getting your work seen, let alone published, can be quite tough. Often you're having to change it once people see it to suit what a company is after. And you have to learn how to live with all of these critiques and comments. Some of them useful, some of them, you don't necessarily understand. And that takes a little bit of practice. And in some cases, you also have to try to put yourself in the shoes of editors who perhaps are not used to your background and where you're from. The other thing I want to say to you is that you have a network. So networking here is utterly important as well. Your network now includes all the people that you've met on this, during the course of this competition. And I think you should try to use them or help them or assist them, support them in any way you can, because they'll be doing the same thing for you. So those are the 2 main points I'm going to leave you with today. Once again, congratulations to everyone who's entered. And I look forward to seeing you within the publishing world very, very soon. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Antoinette Brooks, and I am the Jericho Prize Picture Book winner for 2022 to 2023. I'd like to start by saying a huge congratulations to all of you who made the shortlist. This is a massive achievement, and you deserve to feel rightly proud of yourselves. And then I would also like to say a big thank you to the Jericho Prize team for the support they've given me in the past couple of years. So what's been happening since I won the Jericho? Well, I am now agented, which is great, and I've also been mentored by Scholastic, so I've learned so much since this whole process has started. I've sat on a couple of panels, and I even did the South Bank Imagine Festival, but perhaps most excitingly of all, while I'm waiting for my picture book debut to come out, I've had the honour of, or the thrill of, being published by Collins Educational, as part of their Big Cat read. So I've got a book called The Boy at the Back of the Bus, about the childhood of Martin Luther King Jr. It's a narrative poem. And I've also got The Secret Diary of Janina K. Jones, which is a diary, and I wrote and illustrated those both. I would say, if I was to give any advice. It's you need to be patient because things might sometimes take a little bit longer than you might expect. This is natural. You need to persevere and you need to be passionate. Write the stories that make your heart sing, that you really resonate with you and that you want to tell others. And it's a lovely, warm community. So reach out to other picture book writers or other writers too and build connections that way. So good luck for the rest of the evening and take care. Bye for now.
And now a little bit about tonight's host. She is an award-winning journalist, editor and broadcaster who has written for The Independent, The Voice and The HuffPost UK, among many others. She has worked as a broadcast journalist at the award-winning Colourful Radio since 2015, where she has co-presented and produced the Voices of Windrush radio show with Patrick Vernon OBE. She is also the founder and editor-in-chief at Just Jar magazine, a print and digital magazine and platform dedicated to promoting the Rastafari community and reggae music globally. Currently, she is part of the editorial team at The Voice, Britain's longest-running black newspaper, and she writes about news stories and features impacting the Black British community and wider diaspora. Winner of the Best Online Media Award at the Bright Lights Awards ceremony, here is your host, Sinai Fleary.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. My name is Sinai Fleary, and I'm delighted to be hosting the Jericho Prize 2025. Welcome to a special evening where we're going to celebrate Black British talent in children's writing. At this year's prize, there are two categories. We have picture books for 3 to 7-year-olds, and for a new category this year is the baby and toddler books for the little ones aged 1 to 3 years old. Now, just to run through some itinerary, the ceremony lasts about an hour and will include the highlight of every Jericho Prize ceremony. The showcase will include all 8 finalists, and you'll hear from the judges also. Thank you to the Jericho Prize 2025 partners for their generous contributions. Hachette Children's Publisher for tonight's cash prizes for each winner, and a beautiful bundle of books for all the runners-up, and of course, their support for judging. Inclusive Books for Children. As a not-for-profit, the Jericho Prize is reliant on funding and donations, so we want to thank the IBC for their generous and vital grant funding to support the Jericho Prize's running costs. Society of Authors, we must thank them as well for providing 12 months of membership at the SOA for each winner. And then Peters, which is a book supplier, has supplied copies of the Children's Writers and Artists Handbook as prizes for all finalists. So no one is going to go home empty-handed. Everyone is a winner tonight. Alana Max, a publisher. Last but not least, we must thank them, of course, for their unending advice and support, help with promotion, and of course, their immeasurable input of the Jericho Prize patron, Ken Wilson Max, who you heard from earlier. Now, this is a celebration of children's books, and I just want to go back to my childhood a bit, and I didn't see many people who looked like me when I was reading books, and that sort of caused the disconnect. I didn't feel like I could relate to the character or that I could go on the journey and the adventures that they were going on. That was until I came across this book, which is a bit battered because I read it so many times. I loved it. And it's actually missing the front cover, but it's Handa's Surprise. Now, I don't know if anyone remembers this book, but it wasn't until I came across this story that I felt like I could see myself in Handa, and I could see my family in the characters. And what that did was that allowed me to dare to dream that I could also be Handa. And that's really important for our children growing up, that they see themselves in their books. And that's why I'm so passionate about Black representation in children's book. Every children deserves to dream. Every child deserves to go on these adventures with the characters. I want to thank all the judges, the long listers and short listers, the final judges, our readers, and the judges who gave their time to read and discuss and offer feedback to every writer's script. The Jericho Prize is one of only a very few amount of competitions that offer free feedback to writers, and that's so important for writers to develop their craft. And of course, none of this would be possible without all our wonderful volunteers who help to read the scripts. Now it's time for a special Q&A session with our final judges. We have Amy Anderson, who is the editorial director of Picture Books. We have Iman Khakoo, who is the editor of Preschool and Picture Books, both from Hachette Children's. And we have Anna McQuinn, editor-at-large and creator of the phenomenally successful Bookie Girl Lulu and Ziki series. Thank you for joining me, ladies. How are you?
Good.
Very
Good,
well.
thank you. Happy to be here.
I'm very excited to be here. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for joining. And, you know, without giving away any winners, of course, throughout this discussion, I wanted to ask you, what were some of the highlights of judging tonight's awards?
Yeah, it's always really exciting to read stories from kind of new voices and emerging talent. It's wonderful to work with people right at the start of their career, and I found that so exciting, seeing all those texts come through and being able to kind of engage with them at that really early stage. It was a real highlight for me.
Yeah. And for you, Iman?
Yeah, I think like Amy, kind of focusing wholly on the writing and storytelling. It's a really creative and kind of immersive experience. And as well, I've got to say, like working with Fabia and the other judges, we had such kind of enriching and in-depth creative discussions. And it's like what I love about my job, and just being able to do that and just really sink my teeth into the submissions was just such a joy.
Amazing, thank you. And Anna?
Yeah, I think having been involved with the prize, seeing the growth and the quality, you know, every year it gets more wonderful. And I think particularly this year I mean, it's so great to have a baby prize. I'm passionate about babies. It's when you make the readers of tomorrow. So to see that level of quality, I mean, so often people think this is the easy bit, you know, you just kind of trot out whatever. And they were so thoughtful, and the ideas were so good, as well as the writing. They were so clever. So yeah, that was a real highlight. I kind of feel the future is safe for baby books.
Thank you so much. And of course, without naming names, what impressed you about the writer's work? And I think I'll open that up for all of you.
I really loved how many, because I was on the Picture Books judging panel, I really loved how many of the books showed such warmth and love and close relationships between the characters. It's not the easiest thing to achieve, and you really felt the authenticity of the kind of the characters and the way they interacted, the way they spoke, and it really led to that kind of integrated right the way through that really strong and authentic cultural representation, which the prize is all about, through the storytelling, the language use, and just the way the whole kind of story came together each time. It was really beautiful to read, and just really well crafted on every level.
Yeah. And I was judging the baby books, and I was really impressed by the novelty focus and awareness. It's such a kind of, you have to have such a deft skill to get it right. And I just thought that all the scripts did amazingly for that. And there was such a kind of an originality of ideas as well. And I loved how cultural significance and representation and kind of what the prize stands for was really woven in so organically and seamlessly into the heart of each text and all the concepts as well.
Amazing, thank you for that. And then for you, Anna, what impressed you about the writer's work?
Yeah, I think it was the cleverness of ideas, and also nobody tried to reinvent the wheel, which doesn't sound like the compliment it's intended to be. But I think there were concepts and things that we know and recognize, and particularly in this area where it's quite hard to, you know, it's quite expensive to make things like board books, then finding something that's recognizable, whether it's a flap or a pop-up or whatever, and then fusing that with a new idea that has not been done before, or telling it from a viewpoint that hasn't been done. It was the level of sophistication of that was just really brilliant. Rather than coming and trying to be really different, I think people were much more clever in taking what we recognize and making it fresh and new and more interesting. So yeah, that was great.
Oh, fantastic feedback there. How can we do more to promote Black British writing in UK children's publishing? And again, I'll open this up for all of you.
I think Sinai touched on this, you touched on this earlier, didn't you, about how important it is to make sure children can see themselves in the book. All children can see themselves in the book. And obviously, as publishers, we have a big responsibility here, and we do really hold ourselves accountable. There's always more work to be done. But I think that unlocks everything. You know, if you can see yourselves in the book, especially if you can see kind of authors who are like you writing the books and illustrating the books, it's that sense that it's possible, that it's out there. And I think that is kind of key and integral to everything, really.
Yeah, and also just this prize, like, you know, it provides so many opportunities, and it's a space for kind of development of talent. And Fabio just does such amazing work, and the team to kind of with the prize. And Hachette were also involved last year in the development year as well as the prize year. And I think just that long-standing nurturing of talent, and like you said, kind of like forming long-standing relationships, you know, across the industry is so important. And just recognizing that it's a slow process, it's a long process, but those relationships can kind of stand the test of time.
And then for you, Anna?
Yeah, I think again, coming back to the cleverness of this lot, I think we have to be careful not to be siloed. So you think, oh, that's a book with an Asian author, so it's only for a very specific tiny audience, because that immediately makes it not, you know, more difficult to make it commercial. Where what I found with the young ones, so many of them were kind of universal baby experiences, but from a very particular, you know, from a Jamaican background or from a different backgrounds. So I think that's the thing that made it, you know, anybody could pick it up and love it, and somebody who's in it could pick it up and feel, you know, see themselves. But I think there was enough universality in it for everybody, and I think it's a really hard trick to pull off. But for me this year, I think all of the ones I read really pulled that off, and I think that it gives the books more of a fighting chance. And I felt there was just really clever, and that gave me kind of, I think that helped things. Yeah.
Thank you for that. And do you know what? A question's just come to me. It's not on my sheet, but I thought I would just throw it in anyway as you guys were talking. Is there like one specific thing that everybody on the call could do that would help to promote Black British writing from your perspective? What do you think it is we could do? Would it be sharing books online, or I mean, let's hear some of your suggestions as how we can all sort of pitch in and help.
I really think there's something important in getting books into children's hands where children can access them. So things like local libraries and school libraries where they exist. And, you know, if there's kind of community centres, or I've got a cafe near me that has a brilliant children's just book area to kind of access while parents having a coffee. And you can kind of make sure that if you are able to, contribute into those areas and making sure that those books are reaching children in those areas where they're already visiting with families, with whoever's looking after them, is a really kind of small but quite impactful way to kind of make a change.
Yeah, agreed. And just like, I mean, obviously there's still so much work to do, but there are books publishing at the moment which are amazing. And I think just shouting out more about them and really championing them, and just showing that there's like just such beauty and variety, and that like everyone really has a story to tell as well, is important.
And you, Anna, any one thing we can do to help?
Yeah, I'd like to pick up on Ken's point about networking. I think, you know, following everybody else who's on this call on Instagram, Facebook, wherever they are, sharing everything they post about books, so that, you know, you're giving more space and helping people create bigger networks and bigger audiences than they have already, and tagging people so that, you know, you just get the books out there and visible so that people pick up on them.
Fantastic suggestions. Thank you so much. And I've just seen in the chat, Janet Noble's put a library in every state school. So that's her suggestion, that we need a library in every state school across the country. So thank you so much. I just want to add that Anna and Iman judged the baby and toddler books, and Amy judged the picture book category. I need to give apologies for Rachel Davis Featherstone, who was our other picture book judge, who unfortunately couldn't make it here tonight. So judges, thank you so much for taking part in this Q&A session. I really appreciate your insights, and I hope everyone on the call also found it really useful. So thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now it's time to sit back and relax. I hope everybody's got a drink or some popcorn. And it is time for the first of tonight's wonderful showcases with extracts from our finalist stories. Here are the Jericho Prize 2025 picture book finalists.
Jericho Prize 2025 Picture Book Showcase.
Hi, my name's Shana Byfield and my picture book manuscript is called Kiki, Queen of the Rink. When Kiki receives roller skates for her birthday, she can't wait to take the roller rink by storm. But as she struggles to stay upright, she soon realises that roller skating is not as easy as she thought it would be. Kiki's mum reminds her that to be great at anything takes time and practice. Growing up, I loved to read, but I never saw myself represented in the books that I read. I wanted things to be different for my children, and they inspire me to make a change. I love to write stories that celebrate culture and heritage, but also stories that find the joy in embracing new challenges. I think young children will love Kiki, Queen of the Rink because it's fun, it's entertaining, it's emotive, and it's for every child who's ever tried something new that needs a little more encouragement just to keep on going and to never give up.
Kiki, Queen of the Rink by Shana Byfield. Happy birthday! Kiki pulled the ribbon and ripped the paper off the box. Inside, she found a brand new pair of sparkly roller skates and a helmet that fit perfectly over her afro. Thanks, I love them, Kiki said. Tomorrow, we're going to the rink, said Mum. Kiki loved the roller rink. It was like a big party, except everyone was on wheels. It was her first time skating, and it wasn't as easy as it looked. Kiki could barely stand up as skaters zoomed all around her. She slipped and slid as she clung to the side of the rink. Her legs moved in all directions. She tumbled over and almost did the splits. Even though Kiki bent her knees for balance, just as her mum had shown her, her legs still buckled and bowed, and once again she fell over. Kiki's mum showed her how to slow down and stop. I can do it, said Kiki, But when she let go of her mum's hand, she rolled straight into a group of skaters. She fell to the ground. Kiki's face felt warm. Everyone must be laughing, she thought. She wanted to go home.
Hello everyone, my name is Marva Carty and I am the author of Grandad's River. My picture book celebrates a powerful bond between grandparent and child. Using nature and a sense of place as a foundation for lasting memories, it offers comfort and tools for understanding how to talk to young children grieving the loss of their loved ones. I was inspired to write this story by my childhood summer holidays spent with my grandparents on the north coast of Trinidad. So this book is set where the river meets the sea, and it's a heartwarming celebration of the enduring power of family, nature, and childhood memories. It has a number of familiar themes such as nature, play, adventure, and also the presence of positive multi-generational family relationships.
Grandad's River by Marva Carty. We went to the river with Grandad every summer. From the house he built on Paradise Hill, we set off for Marianne, the river that meets the sea.
Don't forget my stick.
Grandad called. At last we arrived and scrambled from the car. The air was warm and heavy with sea salt. Grandad led the way through the almond trees. He hummed his favourite tune as we stomped across the sand.
We reach.
Sang Grandad.
Time to take a dip.
Splatash! Into the water we dashed. We rolled and we dove, reaching out to darting fish. We squashed our toes in the soft river mud. Squoosh, squoosh. We tiptoed up to the mangrove. Shh! The blue crabs tickled the sand. Skit, skit, skittle. Then they disappeared down their holes. Bloop! We paddled and splashed. We leapt and raced. We waved to boats far out to sea. All the while, Grandad watched from the shade of his tree.
Hello, my name's Sebrina O'Connor and my picture book is called Dudu's Brave. The inspiration for my book is from personal experience. I realised that there was not very much choice in picture books to read to my own children around themes of family illness, hope and positivity. These themes are universal, but having Caribbean influences woven in allows for Black representation and connection, and that's why I wrote this picture book. Dudu's Brave is about family, love, and the incredible strength of children's hearts. When Nanny needs to take some time to get better, Dudu learns that love doesn't disappear. Nanny's positive mindset is passed on to Dudu to see the colours in life through memories, rainbows, and especially sweet potato pudding. Readers will enjoy the journey that Dudu goes on as Nanny helps her learn about herself, her resilience, and the importance of family, friends, and fun.
Dudu's Brave by Sabrina O'Connor. My nanny always picks me up from school with a surprise in her pocket.
Dudu,
Nanny says,
life is full of surprises.
my favourite surprise is Nanny's homemade sweet potato pudding. It reminds us of Nanny's hometown, the Spice Isle. Let's make more when we get home. We share the last slice on our way to the supermarket. I help Nanny find sweet potato, nutmeg, sugar and spices. After shopping, we go to Nanny's favourite Caribbean restaurant. We eat fried bake and saltfish.
Sharing is
caring, I say, finishing Nanny's sentence with a smile.
Hi, my name is Paula Sampson-Lawrence and my picture book story is The Special Crown. The Special Crown is about Joy, a young girl who just gets her hair braided, ready for a party to celebrate her mum and dad's anniversary. However, she gets disappointed when she realises that she has to wear a head wrap to cover up her freshly done braids. So I wanted to write the story because I like the idea of your hair being your crown and glory, and especially in Black culture, how it's a source of cultural pride and cultural heritage. And then on top of that, the gele is the same thing in the Yoruba culture. It's a source of pride and elegance. And so it's that idea of your hair is your crown and you're wearing a crown on top of a crown. I think that the story will appeal to young children because it does highlight a different perspective. It showcases the African culture, the Yoruba culture, and the idea of taking pride in your hair and the importance of clothing to signify unity and family. But just the idea of getting your hair done and wanting to show it off at a family event, I think is a pretty universal idea in that sense as well.
The Special Crown by Paula Sampson-Lawrence. Mum and Dad helped Joy get ready for bed. Please, can I see the outfit I'll be wearing tomorrow? Please? It's a surprise, said Dad. I'm just too excited, said Joy. Only one more sleep, said Mum, ducking Joy's hair away under a purple bonnet. The next morning, Joy bolted out of bed. She removed her bonnet and went to the mirror to look at her hair. She couldn't wait to show off her braids and coloured beads at the party. Can I see my outfit now, please? Begged Joy. Don't you want to eat breakfast first? Asked Mum. No, I'm too excited, squealed Joy. In Mum and Dad's room, laid out on the bed, was a beautiful purple and gold outfit. This is the top and this is the skirt, explained Mum. Wow, it's beautiful, said Joy, carefully touching the colourful fabrics. What's this? Asked Joy. This is a special head wrap. It's called a gile. Does it go on my head? Asked Joy quietly. Yes, it's part of the outfit, replied Mum. Joy didn't want to cover her hair. She wanted to show everyone her braids and beads.
Hello, I'm Rachel Davis Featherstone. I'm an author, agent and co-founder of Creative Roots Studio, and I was delighted to be one of the judges for the picture book category of the Jericho Prize this year. It was absolutely wonderful to read the shortlisted stories, and I just want to say congratulations to all four of the shortlisted writers. It was brilliant to see the diversity in the stories you'd done, the authenticity of the characters, and I was really impressed by how all of the stories had focused about the child's experience and really brought their lived experience onto the page, and that was really exciting to see, particularly with the winning story. And yeah, there's no spoilers here, but I just want to say I think in that story it just absolutely captivated me and really took me along the whole way on the journey, so I'm really excited to see where that story goes. So once again, congratulations to all four of you, you're all winners, and a special congratulations to the winner.
Wow. I hope you loved watching the picture book showcase as much as I did, featuring our incredible four finalists. It's going to be really tough to choose a winner. I was listening and it was just every single story was fantastic. And also, I must say, I hope you also enjoyed the incredible portraits of our finalists, which were done by the Jericho Prize patron, Ken Wilson Max. Before we go on and announce the picture book winner, I want to share some of the judges' reflections on all four scripts. So Shana Byfield, the judges said of Kiki, Queen of the Rink, the text shows strength in its unusual setting and incorporation of themes of confidence and perseverance that feel very child-friendly. So incredible feedback there for you. And then Marva Carty, the judges said of Grandad's River, the strength of the text is in its child-centric focus. There are some lovely turns of phrase and the setting is described with clarity. Brilliant feedback there on your script. Sebrina O'Connor. Sebrina, the judges said of Dudu's Brave, there is real warmth and love in the descriptions of the food Dudu and Nani share together. And the character of Nani is portrayed with life. Oh, brilliant feedback there. And last but not least, Paula Sampson-Lawrence. Paula, the judges said of the special crown, there is much to like in this text, which has a good layout. The concept felt fresh with authentic Black representation woven throughout. So well done. Fantastic feedback for all of you. I'm now going to hand over to Ruth Alltimes, Managing Director at Hachette Children's Group, who will announce the winner. So good luck, ladies.
I don't have anything to add to all the very eloquent summaries, but these were really fantastic texts. So you should all be really proud of yourselves, and you are all winners in many ways. But I have the gold envelope, so I will reveal. I wish I could do a drum roll, but I can't. And the winner is Sebrina O'Connor with Dudu's Brave. Congratulations, Sebrina. Well done, and well done to everyone. Oh, that's lovely.
Well done, Sebrina. Congratulations.
That fantastic heart and soul that is obviously very present in your household really came through in your text. So congratulations.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. Thank you.
Massive congratulations, Sebrina. Would you like to say a few words? Do you have a speech ready?
Oh, my God. I can't. I will. Yeah, I'd love to say a few words. This is just really amazing. Just sitting there watching everything go past before, and with Fabia and yourself and all the other judges talking, I just, my heart's just pounding. This is just an amazing moment. But when you said it, Sinai, like, Nani is life. Nani is real. And this came from a personal place. And you just saw my two children there as well, and having that generational, with Nani being my mum, and passing down the wisdom between generations and trying to bring that to life in a story. I really wanted to make sure that I was honest but hopeful, and be real but not too overwhelming for this age group either. And I just really hope that everybody who has read it and will get the chance to read it going forward. I would like Dudu and Nani to be a whole series of, let's take this somewhere with stories, because generations are connection, memory and love. And this was written for all those nannies, grandmas, aunties and matriarchs who carry their culture and their stories in their pockets, just like that sweet potato pudding.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much, Sebrina, and massive congratulations to you again. But also I want to acknowledge our wonderful runners-up as well, who have also walked away with prizes this evening. Like I said earlier, nobody's going away empty-handed. Massive congratulations to all of you for making it this far. I think Fabia mentioned earlier that over 100 submissions were entered to the Jericho Prize this year. So to be the final four is an incredible achievement. Do any of you want to say anything? Shana, Marva, or Paula, do any of you want to say anything?
I'd just like to thank the Jericho Prize for everything they do, and the opportunities that they've given me, and the support that they continue to do. Thank you.
Yes,
same. It's just great to have the opportunity to be able to take part in the Jericho initiatives and to be part of this this event here this evening. And congrats again to Sebrina.
Yeah, I just want to say well done to the other finalists. Your story, I really enjoyed listening to it. And Sebrina, I'm so happy for you. You really deserve it. So honestly, well done. You really deserve it. Congratulations.
Thank you, ladies. And I just want to remind the runners-up, each of you will win a copy of the Children's Writers and Artists Yearbook. And of course, you will receive a children's book bundle from Hachette as well. So massive congratulations to you all. Sebrina, have you got any last words that you want to say as well?
Yeah, I'd just like to say just congratulations to all of the finalists as well, and everyone who's entered the Jericho Prize. Just writing and having representation in our space is so important. And I thoroughly enjoyed listening to your stories and seeing and hearing them brought to life. So well done to each and every one of you. Just keep writing.
Definitely. Can we have a round of applause for our finalists and also for everybody on this call, please? Massive round of applause.
Woo! Go Sebrina! Go Sebrina! We love you! Well done, everyone! Go Sebrina!
Yeah. Well done, Shana. Well done, Marva. Well done, Paula. And well done, Sebrina. Thank you, ladies.
Congratulations.
Thank you. This is just beautiful. I love the positive energy that's flowing around with everybody. And let's all keep in touch and network as well. I think that's really important going forward. Thank you, ladies, for that. So now it's nearly time for our second showcase, the Jericho Prize 2025 Baby and Toddler Book finalists. But let's take a little break.
And now it's time for the 2025 Jericho Prize Baby and Toddler Book Showcase.
Hi, my name is Fola Awofadeju and I have written a toddler script called Where's Lana's Hat? And it's about a little girl called Lana who has lost her hat and she goes on a journey through her house trying to find it. And along the way, she meets her different family members. So this story was inspired by my niece, who is a toddler, who has got loads of energy, loves to rummage through things. She loves to play with a range of different things. And I just wanted to picture her kind of world There's also the cultural aspect. So things like traditional wear is something that's quite natural within our family dynamic. And I just wanted to bring that to the audience. Really hope it will appeal to the young toddlers. For the reason I can kind of see the vibrant colours in my mind that could be used on each page when she goes through a journey of finding the different hats. In addition to that, it's a Lift the Flaps book. And, you know, I feel that's quite interactive and they'll kind of want to look and find out what's underneath it.
Where's Lana's Hat? By Fola Awofadeju. Lana has lost her hat. Where can it be? Is that Lana's hat?
No, that's my ghillie.
Is that Lana's hat?
No, that's my baseball cap.
Is that Lana's hat?
No, that's my filler.
Hello, my name is Paula David and my baby and toddler script is Hey Baby Bailey. Hey Baby Bailey is all about the joy and excitement that a toddler feels when they're choosing their different hairstyles for their afro hair on each day of the week. Hey Baby Bailey is an exploration of the versatility and beauty of afro hair. I think this story will appeal to toddlers and babies because of the melody and the rhythm within the text, the colours and the shapes that were reflected in the text.
Hey Baby Bailey by Paula David. On Monday, Baby Bailey has 2 shiny red ribbons. They shimmer and shine around 2 buns. 1, 2 shimmering red ribbons. On Tuesday, Baby Bailey has 3 shiny blue ribbons. They dangle and swing at the end of 3 cornrows. 1, 2, 3 swinging blue ribbons. On Wednesday, Baby Bailey has 4 purple beads. They blink and wink at the end of 4 box braids. 1, 2, 3, 4 winking purple beads.
Hello, my name is Janet Noble and my baby and toddler script is called Jam Jamaica. Jam Jamaica is a joyful, simple story about an island family making a mess while making guava jam to share with their nearest and dearest. I was inspired to write this story by my mother's wonderful tales of picking ripe mangoes and guavas off the trees while growing up in rural Jamaica in the 1930s. Her memories made Jamaica seem to me like this paradise, a sun-soaked, bountiful land, which was in stark contrast to the grey, drab London where we lived and where all our fruit came in plastic bags from the local supermarket. Like a lot of children of migrants, at the time it made me wonder why had my mum decided to come to London in the first place. I think my story will appeal to babies and toddlers because it's rhyming, it's joyous, it depicts a simple family scene and it is perfect for reading aloud.
Jam Jamaica by Janet Noble. Here are the jam pickers and the jam stickers. Here are the jam hoppers and the jam choppers. Here are the jam mixers and the jam lickers.
Hello, my name is Ronke and my baby and toddler script is This One, That One. It's a story that follows a day in the life of Ayotomiwa as he makes choices, choosing what to wear, what to play, what to eat, and so on. The inspiration for this story came from my nephew. When he was little, he had this phase where he would say, this one, that one for anything he wanted. And this was because he was mimicking what adults would say when they wanted to ask him what he wants. So my sister thought it would be a good idea to make a customized t-shirt with that phrase, and that kind of got me thinking about other things that could happen with it, and that was where this script was born. I think this story will appeal with babies and toddlers because it shows that their choices matter, which is so important, particularly for Black kids. I think it's a good tool to teach that there are options in life, and being able to choose what you want empowers you for the future.
This One, That One by Ronke Owoeye. It's a bright and sunny day. Ayotamiwa is off to the park to play. But what will Ayotamiwa wear? This one or that one? This one, Ayotamiwa says, grinning from ear to ear. Yay! The swings go up and the slides go down, and the roundabout on the playground goes round and round. So, what will Ayotamiwa play today? This one or that one? That one, Ayotamiwa says with a shout and hooray! Whee! Lunchtime comes. It's time to eat. Something warm and something sweet. So what will Ayotamiwa eat today? This one or that one? Warm.
What an adorable baby and toddler book showcase of our 4 finalists there. Before I go on and share some of the judges' comments, I just want to thank Ken again for his amazing portraits of our finalists. Incredible, just beautiful, beautiful portraits. And let's start with sharing some of the feedback on these 4 scripts from the baby and toddler book category. Fola Awofadeju. The judges said of Where's Lana's Hat? This was so clever. I liked that the author included 3 generations. The novelty lift the flap was well thought out and integrated throughout the book, which is a difficult thing to get right. So well done, Fola. Great feedback there. And then Paula David, the judges said of Hey Baby Bailey. This was completely original, something that's very hard to achieve in this category. It had a nice melody and lovely repetitive elements, all while gently including some soft learning concepts. So wonderful feedback there, Paula. And then Janet Noble, the judges said of Jam Jamaica, great concept. It was so brave, in a good way, to present such a stripped down text. Absolutely perfect for this age group. It felt fresh, fun, and contemporary. So great feedback for you, Janet. And then Ronke Owoeye, the judges said of This One, That One, I love the you choose aspect, which is such a trendy, strong, and repeatable concept that empowers little ones to make decisions. This was simple and accessible. So brilliant feedback for you, Ronke. Now, I'm not going to announce the winner. I'm going to hand over to Iman Khakoo from Hachette, who is going to announce the winner. Good luck, ladies.
Yes, so I've got my envelope here. Brief. And so the winner of the best baby and toddler book script for 1 to 3s is Ronke Owoeye. Yay! Well done, congratulations.
Congratulations, Ronke. How are you feeling? Have you got any words, or are you lost for words?
I did. I'm ready. Thank you. Oh, no.
Oh.
so prepared something and I forgot it. But just thank you. I'm really just wow. Because this was really a personal book, very much for me, and with it's very personal story. It's my nephew, and just being able to tell it and seeing it being received in this way, and because I wanted it to live, I wanted to live and have a space in the world, and having this group, this prize, this award, I didn't even imagine when I started out putting the concept together. I just appreciate it. So just thank you. And thank you for giving this book life.
Congratulations, Ronke. And also, I want to acknowledge our 3 runners-up who are also on the line, Fola, Paula, and Janet. Massive congratulations as well to making it to finalists. Do any of you want to say a few words?
Yeah, I'd like to say a big thank you to the Jericho Prize and to Fabia and all the support over the time that we've been working alongside her and giving us this opportunity to build our confidence and get our work out there. So it's been amazing, and congratulations to Ronke. And hearing all our scripts come to life sounded brilliant. It was just really nice to hear. So thank you.
And Paula, any words from you?
I'd just like to say thank you to Jericho Prize. I think they have been instrumental in getting me to the point that I am now with the foundation course and everything. So just thank you, and well done everybody else. Well done to the finalists, and thank you so much for those lovely illustrations, and the children's voices were beautiful as well. Thank you.
And Janet, any words from you?
Yeah, just the same as everybody else. Thank you, Jericho Prize, for organising this competition. It's a really important competition, and it just gives confidence to people who want to see more children's books with Black representation. And this is a way that they can build their confidence and get into the industry and get to know people. And as was said in the beginning of the event, about networking, getting to know people, getting that support so they can carry on and hopefully build their careers and become successful authors. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you. And I just want to remind the runners-up, you each will receive a copy of the Children's Writers and Authors, Children's Writers and Artists Yearbook 2025, and you'll also receive a fabulous bundle of children's books from Hachette. So massive congratulations. Can we get a round of applause for everybody, please? It is incredible. Well done, everyone.
Well done, well done.
Woo-hoo!
You know what? Why don't you just go to the government and get a free phone?
Thank you so much. There's lots of comments going on in the chat as well. Everyone is sending so much love and congratulations to everyone. So it's nearly, someone hasn't muted. I can hear someone. Okay, thank you, Matthew. So thank you so much for everyone sending these lovely messages in the chat to everyone on the call and to all our finalists. It's nearly the end of our night, but there's still some time for a final thought from Ken. Ken, are you ready?
I am.
Thank you.
Okay, so congratulations to all the finalists. It was a pleasure to make your portraits, by the way. Sometimes I had to do a little extra research to find another picture. But you have to go the extra mile if you want these things to turn out well. And I think that's exactly what I'm going to say to you. This is the phase now where hopefully publishers start getting in touch, or you start doing your rounds and finding agents. And, chances are the stories will change a little bit, just so that, or they'll be refocused by an editor here and there. It's a fantastic journey, and I think the publishing community on the whole, the children's publishing community, is such a lovely community to be part of. Most people are super supportive and generous with their advice and time, so don't be shy. Always go up to talk to people if you recognize them, and just take it one day at a time. When things are bad, that's fine. It's a bad day. But more hopefully for you, you'll have more positive days. You just have to take each one of those things. One thing I say when I'm mentoring people often is that you have to think of it like you're a business now. And that should help you. That should give you even more confidence to go and talk to people if you need to get to your destination. So I just want to say thank you again for sharing these lovely stories with us, and congratulations. Thanks for Fabia, thanks for Sinai, and I look forward to the next Jericho Prize.
Thank you, Ken. Listen, it's been such a wonderful evening with everybody. I just want to congratulate our winners again of the Jericho Prize 2025, Sebrina O'Connor and Ronke. Owoeye. Thank you so much and congratulations. And of course to our runners-up as well for getting this far. You don't walk away empty-handed. I wish you all the best on your writing journeys as well. And I look forward to seeing your books in the shops where I can purchase them and add them to my growing collection of books as well. I want to thank the patron, Ken Wilson Max, for his ongoing support and artwork. The judges, the Jericho Prize team, Yasmin, Fola, and Matthew, who's been working behind the scenes and all the technical stuff. It's a tiny but mighty team who have worked incredibly hard to put this whole competition and tonight's event together. So can we give the Jericho Prize team a round of applause? It's not in the script, but I think we should. And it's really important that to mention that the Jericho Prize, because it's a not-for-profit, it relies on grant funding, book industry partnerships, and amazing volunteer readers to keep it going. The competition and all its online resources as well, they're always free for new writers. So please support however you can, whether that's through a donation, through their PayPal, or simply by following them on social media. I think someone mentioned this earlier about us amplifying, organizations and writers online. So if everybody could, when they log off, just find the Jericho Prize on social media and give them a follow and help spread the word about this important project. Most importantly, please keep connecting and championing talented new writers whose work you've seen tonight. Fabia has also asked me to say the Jericho Prize will always be about talented writers who come through the process. Writers are literally the lifeblood of this prize, and we are so proud to champion them as best that we can. A message for the writers: please keep writing and connecting with the industry. That's one of the things that I love about the Jericho Prize, is it brings everybody together. Nobody in the publishing industry is hard to reach. We're all on this call together, writers and experts alike. So let's keep connecting, and please let us know how things go. Writers, finalists, let us know how things go, and let's hopefully we can see your children's books on the shelves one day. And again, I'm going to add something that's not in the script. I want to give a massive thank you to Fabia Turner, who launched the Jericho Prize in 2021. Fabia, I hope you don't mind me just mentioning you. It's not in my script, so tell me off afterwards. She launched the prize in 2021, which is designed to nurture and support emerging Black British writers. And I mean, if tonight is anything to go by, she's doing that and more. So can we have a massive round of applause for Fabia Turner, please? Thank you so much for this platform. Is she, Fabia, are you there? Do you want to say a few words? Say no. Did she say no? Did you say no?
I didn't plan to, but thank you for that. That's really kind. Yeah, I mean, you've said it all really. I'm just thrilled to be able to continue to run this project. As you said, it's not about me, it's not about the team. For us, it's all about the writers. And so it's just so joyous to see their work showcased tonight, and for them to have the opportunity to network, as Ken said, that's so important. I'm just really hopeful with everyone's support.
I'm here next week too, next week on Thursday.
Project will
Yeah, thank you for bringing that light
over the years, but we obviously can't do that without everyone's support. So yeah, as Ruth said, please do follow us. I get too excited to listen to me. So I'll leave it there.
Thank you so much, Fabia. And thank you to everyone who attended the Jericho Prize 2025. Please follow them on social media at the Jericho Prize. And if you can, make a donation via their PayPal. It's a really good cause and something that is close to all of our hearts. Thank you so much and have a wonderful evening, everyone. Keep reading and keep writing. Good night.